Oh shoot, y'all heard about that? Dwight, they said Dwight was in a text messaging a guy. Nigga, who cares? Who cares who I was text messaging? You just mad because I want text messaging. Yo, bad. That's what it is. Y'all can stop with the nonsense. Worry about all this bullshit crap. Mind your business.
Royce Reed been told y'all that old boy was go both ways. She been told us all the stuff he was doing back in the day when they were dating. So now that Amy Luciana is saying his he supposedly she found him with some dudes with wigs on. Now we want to start believing the whole thing. If y'all don't know, Dwight, he been out the closet.
But it's because he knows that the real shit about him is coming out. Ask him about Ray Edwards and their parties. Ask him about the red dress that he wore during a Diddy party. Like, we're not gonna do that. I know too much, and the reason I'm talking now is because if something happens to me, y'all know why. This is me purging.
Welcome back to StarHush, where the tea never sleeps. And baby, today's cup is extra spicy. Amy Luciani just dropped a video that has the entire internet in a chokehold. We're talking full-blown chaos. Dwight Howard allegedly getting his cheek slapped by a man who's being called his secret boyfriend. And let me tell you, it's not subtle, it's graphic, and it's got people talking heavy. For months, fans have been whispering that Dwight might not be all the way on the straight path, saying he carries a little extra flavor, if you know what I mean. But every time someone brought it up, Amy came through with the clapback, calling everybody haters, saying folks were just jealous or bored. But now that she's seen it with her own eyes, whew, the energy has shifted quick. Word on the street is Dwight hasn't just been sneaking around, he's allegedly out here getting bold with it too. Some folks are saying he's been making bold content on IG, trying to keep it low but still leaving crumbs. And Amy? She ain't the type to stay quiet when she feels played. She popped all the way out with video-proof screenshots and straight-up digital smoke. She said she's done being disrespected and she's ready to expose the whole truth. And listen, she didn't hesitate or mumble not once. This was a full-blown takedown and she meant every single word. So let's rewind and break down how it all fell apart, because this isn't just your typical celebrity split. It's pure mess from start to finish. So here's how the unraveling began. Reports started swirling just a few days ago that Amy and Dwight had called it quits after she allegedly caught him in the bed with another man.
It's crazy how Amy's saying that she don't mess with Dwight because he messed with men in wigs. It was never a secret. I thought Stevie Wonder even knew. What Kaya said, if everybody want to be the girls, who gonna be the boys? We thought you didn't care. And then y'all was sharing a toothbrush. I know you regret that. After Roy's interview, man, I don't understand how she didn't.
And not just any man, but somebody in a full lace front wig, looking ready for a glam photo shoot. The news hit the fans so fast, but both tried to play it cool at first. Problem is, social media don't miss nothing. Turns out the breakup wasn't recent. It actually happened weeks after Valentine's Day. And if you look closely, Amy had already started wiping him from her digital life. She deleted nearly all their photos together, including that sentimental engagement announcement from December last year. Remember that post where she got real emotional, talking about how Dwight brought her closer to God? She said, "I was enjoying you so much out of the public eye, but here we are. Thank you for bringing me back to the Word. Anything I say or fuss about, first thing you say is, 'Did you pray about it?' Then I realized I hadn't been praying much lately at all. I'm thankful, happy, and ready for everything that's coming our way." She even thanked him for being a Bible-toting tattoo giant who matched her heart. Whew! Imagine writing all that just to get hit with a reality check this harsh. Back then, fans tried to warn her. People were commenting like, "Girl, you sure about this one?" But she wasn't trying to hear it. She clapped back fast, calling out people for being messy and inserting themselves where they didn't belong. She even bragged that she and Dwight were so close they shared a toothbrush. Like, for real, she said that proudly. Fans were gagged. One even wrote, Y'all doing too much for real? Sharing toothbrushes is wild.
I get David.
But let's be real for a second. Dwight probably told Amy exactly what she wanted to hear. He likely gave her the whole "I'm a changed man" speech and sprinkled it with just enough sweet talk to make her believe every word. In fact, there's a clip floating around where he straight up says, "The past is the past," trying to dismiss everything he's ever been caught up in. And guess what? You can clearly hear Amy in the background co-signing him like, that's my man. She was standing by her dude like she had tunnel vision. She acted like everything before her didn't even count, as if loyalty could erase all the red flags. He had her convinced that he was done with all the old stuff and that their relationship was built on honesty and growth. But clearly, that wasn't the full truth.
Somebody said, Amy, girl, you don't know what that man did in his past. See, that's why this person who just wrote that comment.
But God knows what you've done in your past.
I'm gonna say it. That's why this person who wrote that comment will never get blessed like they supposed to.
Ever.
They
Ever.
talking about something, my past.
Ever.
Everybody in the world got a past. But guess what? When you get into a relationship with somebody, you don't bring the past in the relationship. The past is the past for a reason. Somebody like you will be stuck in the past for the rest of your life. And you won't get the benefits and the blessings that you're supposed to get. Because you're worried about somewhere else and you worried about the past too much. Let it go. Whatever happened to me in 2024, it ain't coming with me in 2025. Whatever happened in 2023, it didn't come with me in 2024. Move along.
Now imagine something over a decade ago.
Why would I keep something with me for over a decade ago? I'm not carrying that weight with me. I'm letting it go so I can be blessed. I'm not holding on to.
But turns out that past Dwight kept brushing off. Yeah, that wasn't in the rear view. It was front and center. Because this man didn't just cheat, he got caught up messing around with a whole dude. And honestly, Stevie Wonder could have seen that coming with no problem. If there's one thing Dwight's name always been tangled up with, it's rumors about him not being fully upfront about his preferences. And these rumors ain't just some new tea, they've been steeping for years. Back in 2018, influencer Mason Elijah put Dwight all the way on blast. Mason claimed they were involved in a full-blown situationship, and things went south real fast. At first, it was all good vibes between them, according to Mason. They linked at a Wild 'N Out taping, made eye contact, and boom. Just a week later, Dwight was all up in Mason's DMs. From there, Mason said things escalated quick. Flirty convos turned into spicy exchanges, and before long, Dwight was supposedly calling Mason on Instagram video chat every single night. Mason was really out here thinking it was real. But then the vibes shifted. Dwight started moving funny, acting distant, and then came the moment where everything hit the fan. Mason claimed that Dwight was being sneaky and even cheating with someone else, but not just anyone. It was allegedly a well-known trans woman who used to throw exclusive parties for the trans community. And guess who was supposedly always showing up? Dwight. And when Mason confronted him about it, things didn't go well at all. Mason said Dwight didn't just get defensive, he straight up got aggressive. He even posted screenshots that showed Mason asking Dwight, "Does your mother, brother, or friends know that you like men and trans women, or is that something you've been hiding?" But Dwight never responded. Instead, Mason said Dwight hit back with threats, trying to scare him into silence. It got intense, real intense. Mason tweeted, "I was afraid to speak, but today, my life was threatened. After I was asked, threatened, and manipulated by someone I respected. My ex-boyfriend, NBA player Dwight Howard." He claimed he stayed quiet out of fear, but once he felt unsafe, he had to speak out. Mason laid it all out, how they met, how things heated up, and how Dwight allegedly tried to keep him quiet once it got messy. Now, to be fair, Dwight denied the whole thing. He went public saying he never even met Mason, but the screenshots, the posts, the timeline, fans were side-eyeing hard. People didn't forget. And now with Amy Luciani stepping in with her own receipts, it's bringing everything back to the surface like it never left.
We're talking about it, and it upset me because I didn't even know who the person was. I'm like, why would somebody who I've never met, never had any contact with, make up a whole story about me? And I saw all the hate, the pure hate from people that I've never met before, just pile up everywhere I went against me. And I think that liberated me, because I saw how a lot of people would feel, whether they're gay, whether they're straight, whether they have issues. People are afraid to be who they are. They're afraid to just step out and be, like you said, because they're afraid of what other people might say or think about them. And so that situation made me realize, you're not like this, but just be you, be free.
Meaning you're not gay.
I'm not gay, so just, it's a lot of people who are, and they have to hide. And it's people who have mental issues and they have to hide. It's people who have different problems in life and they have to hide.
And just when you thought the drama couldn't get any wilder, 2023 came through swinging. That year, Dwight Howard found himself in another major controversy, this time involving a man named Stephen Harper. Stephen took legal action and filed a lawsuit claiming their link-up didn't go anything like what was agreed upon. And the way it started, right in Dwight's Instagram DMs. According to Stephen, they first connected on IG and the conversation started heating up pretty quick. Stephen dropped his phone number into Dwight's inbox and Dwight responded with a devil emoji that clearly set the tone. That one emoji had folks talking, and for good reason, because that was the spark that kicked off a conversation that would spiral into something much deeper. Stephen responded with, "Such sexy," and Dwight fired back with, "None, you." From there, it was non-stop flirtation. Stephen let Dwight know he was about to hop in the shower, and they kept going back and forth, chatting about their lives, their day, and making some very specific plans for when they'd be in the same city, Atlanta. At one point, Dwight asked Stephen to send over his main IG account. And when Stephen sent the handle, Dwight must have liked what he saw because he came right out and asked for some private photos, the kind you definitely don't post on your story. Stephen was down with it and didn't hold back, and apparently Dwight was feeling it too because he asked for more right after. That back and forth turned real spicy. The messages got more detailed, and next thing you know, the two were planning to meet up in person to really get to know each other, off the apps, in real life. Stephen then asked, "I got you poppy. Also, what are you into? Do you like things a little freaky?" Dwight responded with a bold, "Yes, I'm into freaky stuff." But here's the line that really had everybody doing a double take. Dwight added, "Now I want you to know I'm not like gay or anything. I'm just a little nasty sometimes. I don't want to offend you." That one comment had people completely confused because the texts were definitely giving flirty energy and the plans sounded far from casual. The plans continued moving right along with no hesitation, and Dwight didn't seem like he was trying to slow it down either. He was fully engaged in that conversation, making it crystal clear that this meetup was more than just friendly. Stephen and Dwight were locked in, at least over text. Now look, everyone has their own preferences, and nobody's knocking that. Then things took an even wilder turn. Dwight started getting real bold in the messages, asking Stephen for even more explicit pics, especially the kind with certain facial expressions, if you know what that means. He wasn't holding back anymore. He skipped all the small talk and told Stephen straight up to come through. And Stephen, he didn't waste a second. As soon as Dwight dropped that location, Stephen booked that ride like he was on a mission, no hesitation, just locked in like it was game time. But once he got to Dwight's place, that whole vibe flipped. Stephen said it started out cool, no pressure. They kicked it for a bit, shared a kiss, got a little physical. It was giving casual at first. But then, according to Stephen, Dwight stepped out of the room for a minute and came back with company. And not just anyone. He walked in with someone who introduced themselves as Kitty, a man dressed in feminine clothing. That's when Dwight let it slip. They weren't just chilling anymore. He told Stephen that Kitty was there to join them for a threesome. That moment changed everything for Stephen. He had already told Dwight earlier he wasn't cool with anything like that, not with a guy or a girl, especially not during their very first link-up. He said he wanted to ease into things, not be thrown into a full-blown situation. At first, Dwight seemed to respect the boundary, but once Steven saw Kitty step in and things started happening fast, he realized it wasn't going to stay chill. According to what Steven told Radar Online, Kitty began engaging with Dwight in an intimate way, right there in front of him, and Steven said he sat there feeling extremely uncomfortable, already regretting coming over. That's when things got even more awkward. Steven claimed Dwight started touching his leg and making moves, trying to reach into his personal space, literally. Steven said he immediately told Dwight to stop, but instead of backing off, he claimed Dwight said something that completely shocked him. According to Steven, Dwight said something along the lines of, "I'm going to do what I want and you're going to enjoy it." Now let's be clear. This is where everything hit a serious note. That's a heavy statement, and the way Steven described it in the legal documents really shook people. He said the whole mood changed in that moment. According to those court papers, Dwight then stood up, and y'all know he's not a small guy. Steven said he felt intimidated, like the energy in the room had totally shifted from playful to aggressive. Everything that happened after that has been detailed in court, and it's part of why this entire case has had people side-eyeing the situation from every angle. While Dwight denied wrongdoing, the lawsuit and these specific claims had folks in total disbelief. The conversation stopped being about just relationship drama. It became about respect, boundaries, and choices that crossed the line in a serious way. Things hit a major turning point when Stephen Harper filed a civil case that sent shockwaves through the media. According to court docs, Stephen said his private interaction with Dwight Howard and a third person known as Kitty went completely sideways. And not in the way anyone expected. What was supposed to be a mutual meetup allegedly spiraled into a confusing, high-pressure situation that left Stephen shaken. Stephen explained in the suit that he initially agreed to link with Dwight after chatting online, but once he got to the house, the vibe allegedly flipped. He claimed things started out calm, but then Dwight unexpectedly introduced Kitty into the situation, someone Stephen had no idea would be joining. From that moment, things reportedly got uncomfortable. Now, according to Stefan's version of events, he made it clear that he wasn't okay with certain things, and even said he tried to shut it down. But what shook people even more was his claim that he didn't feel like he could just leave when things got intense. He said instead of calling a ride, Dwight insisted that Kitty would drive him home, and that ride, according to Stefan, came with a chilling warning that made him feel even more nervous. It's this part that really got folks talking. Stefan said he was deeply unsettled after the visit and wanted to speak out, not just about the encounter itself, but also about how it made him feel like his boundaries weren't respected. He also claimed there were attempts to silence him. The details sparked all kinds of conversations online, with fans divided about what really happened that night. When the story started gaining traction, Dwight at first denied knowing Stefan at all, calling it all a clout-chasing setup. But after screenshots and messages surfaced showing their past chats, the situation shifted. Dwight's legal team eventually issued a public statement saying the meetup was consensual among all parties involved. They emphasized that while the conversation had gone public, the interaction was private, and Dwight had no intention of hiding from the facts. The statement read that Dwight looked forward to clearing his name and sharing his side in court, especially since he's often seen as an easy target due to his fame and the sensitive nature of the topic. They stood by the idea that everything that happened was agreed upon by the individuals present, and that any other interpretation was being used to twist the narrative. Mr. Howard made it clear. He's putting his trust in the court system and letting the legal filing speak for him moving forward. But Stephen Harper wasn't done yet. Instead of falling back, he turned up the heat by dropping Kitty's picture online and giving even more detail about what went down that night. Stephen said, "With all due respect, Kitty is an older person in their 40s who's not exactly my type." He went on to claim that he felt completely blindsided when Kitty walked into Dwight's home unannounced. Stephen described Kitty's look as a full beard, high heels, and a church wig, and said the whole moment threw him off completely. He said he told Dwight he wanted to leave right then and there, but didn't feel safe enough to just walk out. The whole situation was traumatic, Stefan said, and I stayed quiet out of fear, but I'm not staying quiet anymore. Then he dropped this bold statement. I might not have been Dwight's first, but I hope I'm the last. That line alone sent the internet into a frenzy. It had everybody spinning, asking what really goes on behind closed doors at Dwight's place. So what did Dwight say after all this? He kept it short but firm. What I do in my bedroom is my business. Where I lay my head is nobody else's concern. He said folks were being way too nosy and made it clear he's not explaining his lifestyle to anybody. Now you'd think that after all these allegations and receipts, Amy Luciani would have picked up on the signs and bounced, right? But apparently that wasn't enough to make her step all the way back. If it wasn't the recent buzz that made her pause, then his past with his ex Royce Reed should have done it. Because Royce? She's been warning folks for years. Recently, Royce went on a full-blown truth tour, posting a 3-part video series she titled I Had a Baby with Superman, and she did not hold anything back. From messy relationship drama to alleged disloyalty, she aired out every detail about what it was like dealing with Dwight during their time together. But what really shook the room was when she casually dropped a line about Dwight allegedly being spotted at some of those high-profile secret parties, the ones people have long whispered about involving A-list celebs. And yes, she's talking about the same exclusive parties folks associate with Diddy, the kind that come with closed doors, no cameras, and a whole lot of rumors. Royce hinted that Dwight might have even shown up to one of those events in a dress. That's when folks online really started buzzing, pulling up old tea and trying to piece it all together. These claims added fuel to a fire that was already blazing, and fans started wondering just how deep Dwight's private world really goes. So when Royce Reed dropped that bombshell comment, it was like she threw gasoline straight onto an open flame. She didn't just hint at Dwight, she made it clear that he wasn't the only one possibly caught up in those mysterious late-night events. She strongly suggested that he, and maybe even a few other well-known names, might have been frequent guests at those legendary nights the industry always whispers about. But Royce wasn't done there. She went off, and when we say off, we mean full-blown venting session. She accused Dwight of purposely trying to mess up her life, especially when it comes to how she supports their child. She posted, I tried to take the high road. I promise I did, but when you mess with my money and the means I need to raise our child, then claim I don't work. Miss me with that. I'm done staying quiet. She didn't stop there. I told you to leave me alone. Now get your popcorn ready, Mr. Sassy. That's right. Royce was letting it all out. She said, I've asked you to leave me alone for years. I tried to stay quiet and focus on myself. I let people drag my name through the mud while you sat back smiling. But not anymore. I'm not hiding. I'm not protecting anyone. I'm speaking my truth. Actually, I'm telling the truth. Royce claimed that every time she started seeing someone new, Dwight would act out and stir up drama to disrupt her peace. She called it a pattern and said folks who fall for his charm are ignoring the obvious signs. This might not be your business, she said, but since people keep speaking on me, I've got every right to speak back. Then she hit hard, saying, this man has gone out of his way to make sure I'm never happy. Every year, he pulls some wild move, then plays clueless and blames his team. He uses anything, family issues, personal stuff, even serious life events, just to stir the pot online and still keep that smiling face in public. It's terrifying to see. And she wasn't done. She demanded justice, saying, run my mama her money back and tell the truth. I'm not calming down. I'm done playing nice. What else can he take from me now? I've got nothing to lose. After letting all that out, Royce hit Instagram Live and went all in. She didn't hold back even a little bit. She called Dwight out for everything, from those wild nights at his place to him allegedly attending those secret, high-profile parties hosted by other stars. And yes, she brought up that red dress again, the one she said Dwight wore to one of those invite-only events. She said what she said, and she made it loud and clear. No cryptic posts, no vague shade. Royce laid it all out in the open and left nothing on the table. At this point, Dwight's public image has taken hit after hit, and this latest round of revelations just might be the one that keeps folks talking for a long time.
But it's because he knows that the real shit about him is coming out. Ask him about Ray Edwards and their parties. Ask him about the red dress that he wore during a Diddy party. Like, we're not gonna do that. I know too much, and the reason I'm talking now is because if something happens to me, y'all know why. This is me purging.
So with all the smoke swirling around Dwight's name, it's really no surprise that people aren't shocked by the latest rumors. From the leaked clips to the exposed DMs, fans are saying it's been giving low-key energy for a long time now. The talk about him being involved with multiple partners or having people pull up for wild after-hours situations, that's just the cherry on top of an already messy story. And honestly, a lot of folks are saying Amy probably saw the red flags way before this blew up. Some fans are wondering why she stuck around so long, especially when people had already tried to tell her something wasn't adding up. But hey, when love's involved, sometimes the truth takes a back seat until it hits you straight in the face. And in Amy's case, it hit hard. Now, let's be real. This whole situation is wild, and it's got everybody online choosing sides. Some think Amy was right to walk away the minute she caught wind of what was going down. Others are saying she ignored the signs and got caught up in the glam and glitz of dating someone famous. Either way, this whole drama saga has definitely put Dwight in a tight spot. And Amy, she's done being quiet. But I gotta hear from you. What's your take on Amy calling it quits over all this? Was she blindsided or just ignoring the red flags? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and make sure you subscribe to stay tapped in. I'll catch you on the next one, my stars and hushers. You already know it's always something.